I bought the car to start fresh after losing everything but my name. My son thought I was having a breakdown. He didn't know the glove compartment had the fuse. The black 2021 Tahoe sat in my driveway like a promise I wasn't sure I could keep. I'd bought it at auction 3 days after finding out my wife had been screwing her personal trainer in a lake house I didn't know we owned. The truck cost me 11 grand, cash, which was most of what my father left me when he died 6 months ago. Jake, my 17-year-old son, stood on the porch staring at it like I'd just brought home a crack pipe. "Dad, what the hell is this?" "It's a car, Jake. People drive them." "You bought a Tahoe?" He came down the steps, hands shoved in his hoodie pockets. "Mum's gonna lose it." "Your mother's already lost plenty," I said. He didn't catch it. Not yet. Jake was a good kid, smart, played hockey like I used to before my knees went. He had his mother's looks and, God help him, my temper, when he finally let it out. Right now he just looked worried, the way kids do when they think their parents are cracking up. "This is about Grandpa, isn't it?" he said softly. "No." "Dad." "Jake, I'm fine. I just wanted something that's mine." He shifted his weight, glancing back at the house. Mel's BMW sat in the other half of the driveway, perfect and white and detailed within an inch of its life. My work truck, the beat-up F-150 with Mercer Auto and Collision stenciled on the door, was parked on the street because there wasn't room for 3 vehicles. There never was. "You're scaring me a little," Jake admitted. I softened. That's the thing about having a kid. Even when you're ready to burn the world down, they can still pull you back with one sentence. "I'm not falling apart, I promise." I held out the keys. "You want to take it for a spin?" His face lit up. "Seriously?" "Yeah, just around town. Be back in an hour." He snatched the keys before I could change my mind, already jogging to the driver's side. I watched him climb in, adjust the seat, check the mirrors. He was careful, my kid. He'd be a good driver. The Tahoe rumbled to life. Jake gave me a thumbs up through the windshield, grinning like he'd just won something. I smiled back and waved him off. Then I pulled out my phone and texted him, "Check the glove compartment." I watched the truck brake hard at the end of the driveway. Through the rear window, I could see Jake lean over, pop the glove box. His head stayed down for a long time. When he finally looked up, even from 50 feet away, I could see his face had gone pale. He reversed hard, nearly clipped the mailbox, and parked crooked across the driveway. When he got out, he was holding a manila envelope, and his hands were shaking. "Dad, what the hell is this?" I nodded toward the shop. "Not here. Let's go inside." We walked across the street to Mercer Auto and Collision. My father had opened it in 1983, back when Greybridge still had textile mills running, and people had money to fix their cars, instead of driving them into the ground. Now the mills were either gutted or converted into overpriced loft apartments for people from Boston who wanted to feel authentically working class on weekends. The shop was one of the last places in town that still smelled like honest work. Paint thinner, coolant, that sharp burnt metal stink that gets in your nose and stays there. Jake followed me into the office, a cramped room with a steel desk, a filing cabinet that hadn't been updated since Reagan, and a bulletin board covered in invoices and old Polaroids of finished jobs. I shut the door. "Sit." He sat. He kept staring at the envelope like it might explode. "Open it," I said. He did. There were 8 photos inside, printed on regular office paper, but clear enough. Mel and some guy on a porch. Mel and the guy standing close, his hand down the back of her jeans. Mel laughing, head thrown back. Another one of them kissing. The timestamp in the corner read, "Last Tuesday, 2:47 p.m. Jake's voice cracked. "Is this real?" "Yeah." "When did you—" "3 weeks ago." He looked up at me, and I saw it happen. That moment when your kid realizes you're not indestructible, that you're just a man who can get hurt like anyone else. "Who is he?" "Tyler Hagan. Personal trainer." Your mum's been seeing him since about a month after Grandpa died. Jake's jaw tightened. Does she know you know? Not yet. How did you get these? I sat on the edge of the desk. Remember Eddie Palumbo? Used to run claims for State Farm before he retired. Jake nodded slowly. He's got a lake house 2 doors down from where these were taken. Flies a drone for fun, mostly just snooping on his neighbors because he's old and bored. He saw the BMW this guy, Tyler, drives a matte black X6, hard to miss, and figured something was off. Called me last month and asked if Mel had family up by the lake. I said no. He sent me the photos the next day. Jesus, Dad. Yeah. Jake set the envelope on the desk like it was burning his hands. What are you going to do? I'm going to talk to her. And then what? I looked at my son. He had my build, broad through the shoulders, but he hadn't grown into it yet. He still looked like he could break if you pushed hard enough. I didn't want him to see what I was about to become. Then I'm going to make sure she regrets it, I said quietly. Dad. Go home, Jake. I'll be there in an hour. He didn't move. You're not going to do something stupid, are you? I almost laughed. Define stupid. Dad. I'm not going to hurt anyone, I promise. It wasn't a lie. Not exactly. Go on. I need to close up here. He left, reluctant, glancing back twice before the door swung shut. I waited until I heard his car start. Then I sat down at the desk and pulled out the lockbox I kept in the bottom drawer. Inside was the paperwork my dad had left me, the shop's LLC documents, insurance policies, the mortgage on the building that we'd paid off 5 years ago. And underneath all that, folded into a neat square, was the second thing Eddie Palumbo had sent me. A property deed, 117 Lakeview Drive, Greybridge, purchased 8 months ago for $320,000. Financed through a home equity line of credit secured against our house. My signature at the bottom, neat and legible, except I'd never signed it. I sat there in the dark office, staring at that piece of paper, and felt something cold and sharp settle in my chest. Mel hadn't just cheated. She'd forged my name to buy a love nest with her boyfriend, and if the payments went south, I'd be the one holding the bag. 3 weeks ago, I'd been hurt, humiliated. Now I was just angry. I texted Mel, "Be home in 30 minutes. We need to talk." She replied immediately, "Can it wait? Showing a property." "No." "Fine. I'll be there." I locked up the shop, walked back across the street, and sat on the porch waiting. The November air had that wet bite to it, the kind that gets in your bones. The tourists went home after foliage season, and the rest of us were left with empty sidewalks and the smell of the ocean rotting against the docks. Mel's BMW pulled into the driveway 20 minutes later. She got out wearing her showing outfit, blazer, skinny jeans, heels that cost more than my monthly insurance payment. She looked good. She always did. That was part of the problem. Mel knew how to perform. "What's so urgent?" she said, not quite meeting my eyes. "Inside." We went into the kitchen. I didn't offer her anything. I just leaned against the counter and looked at her. "I know about Tyler," I said. She froze. Just for a second, but I caught it. Then the mask came back up. "What are you talking about?" "I know you've been sleeping with him. I have pictures." Her face went white. "Dan, I also know about the lake house." That got her. She actually took a step back. "You forged my signature," I said. "You took out a home equity line against our house to buy a property I didn't even know existed. That's fraud, Mel. That's a felony." "I didn't." "Don't." My voice was flat. "I've got the paperwork. I've got the pictures. I've got Eddie Palumbo, 2 doors down, who's been watching you and your protein shake boyfriend play house for 3 weeks. So don't stand there and lie to my face." She looked at me, and I watched her recalibrate. She was good at that. Mel could pivot faster than anyone I'd ever met. "You've been absent since your father died," she said quietly. "I needed something, Dan. I needed to feel like I mattered." So you bought a house with another man using my name? It was an investment, she snapped. I was going to tell you. When? After you moved in? Her mouth opened, closed. She looked down. You called it our place just now, I said. Not an investment, our place. She didn't deny it. I pushed off the counter. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get a lawyer. I'm going to get a lawyer. And we're going to figure out how to untangle this mess without me losing everything I've built. You understand? Dan, please. I'm done, Mel. Her eyes filled with tears, but they were the wrong kind, the performative kind. I'd seen her cry real tears twice in 15 years. Once when Jake was born, once at her mother's funeral. This wasn't that. What about Jake? She whispered. Jake stays with me. You can't. Watch me. I walked past her, grabbed my keys off the hook and left. I didn't look back. I didn't go back to the house that night. I crashed on the couch in the shop office, same couch my dad used to sleep on when he worked late. It smelled like motor oil and old leather and something faintly metallic I couldn't place. I lay there staring at the water-stained ceiling tiles and thought about all the things I should have seen coming. Mel pulling away after Dad died, the late showings that ran until 9, 10 at night, the new gym membership she'd signed up for in March, the one where she met Tyler. I'd thought she was handling grief by staying busy. Turns out she was just handling Tyler. My phone buzzed around midnight. Jake, you okay? I texted back, yeah. Stay at the house tonight. I'll be home tomorrow. You sure? Yeah, love you. Love you too. I set the phone down and closed my eyes. I didn't sleep much. The next morning, I went looking for Tyler. I knew where he worked, a boutique gym on Main Street called Apex Movement. It was one of those places that charged $200 a month for access to kettlebells and a sauna, the kind of gym that sold a lifestyle instead of a workout. The front windows were plastered with motivational quotes in that blocky sans serif font every wellness influencer uses. Your only limit is you. Sweat is weakness leaving the body. That kind of garbage. I walked in at 9:30, right in the middle of Tyler's morning session. He looked exactly like his pictures. 6'2", gym-carved shoulders, hair gelled into that specific faux hawk thing that guys who peaked in their 20s do to hold on. He had a tattoo sleeve on his left arm, all geometric patterns, and some kind of Sanskrit phrase that probably translated to douche. He saw me coming and his face went tight. Can I help you? He said, stepping away from his client. Tyler Hagen? Yeah, who's asking? Dan Mercer, Melissa's husband. The color drained out of his face. The client looked between us, clearly sensing the shift in energy. Brittany, why don't you take 5? Tyler said, not taking his eyes off me. Brittany grabbed her water bottle and retreated to the other side of the gym, phone already out. I could see her filming from the corner of my eye. Good. Let her. You and I need to talk, I said quietly. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't care what you think is a good idea. You've been screwing my wife for 3 months. You've been doing it in a house she bought with my name. So, yeah, we're going to talk. Look, man, I don't want any trouble. Too late. He straightened up and I saw the flicker of aggression in his eyes. He was bigger than me, younger, probably thought he could take me if it came to that. But he'd never been in a real fight. I could tell. Guys like Tyler threw weights around and posted gym selfies and thought that made them tough. They didn't know what it was like to get hit in the mouth and keep standing. You need to leave, he said louder now. I'm going to say this once, I said, stepping closer, close enough that he could smell the coffee on my breath. My wife left her water bottle at your rental. Or did she swallow everything already? Brittany gasped. Somewhere behind me, someone else laughed. Tyler's face went red. Get out, he hissed. You're driving a $60,000 car on payments, I said, quiet again. Blink twice if she's covering your insurance. His jaw clenched. He didn't blink, but I saw it, the flash of panic. I'd guessed right. I'll call the cops, Tyler said. Go ahead. Ask them about fraud. Ask them about forged signatures on mortgage documents. See what they say. He shoved me, both hands hard, right in the chest. I didn't move much, just rocked back on my heels. The room went silent. Touch me again, I said, and I'll make sure everyone in this town knows exactly how small your dick is. He swung. I saw it coming a mile away. Sloppy, telegraphed, all shoulder and no hip. I ducked, stepped inside, and drove my elbow into his ribs. Not hard enough to break anything, just hard enough to fold him. He staggered back, gasping, and I grabbed the front of his stupid compression shirt and shoved him against the mirror. You come near my wife again, I said. You come near my house. You even think about my son, I will end you. Understand? He nodded, wheezing. I let him go. He slumped against the mirror, holding his side. Brittany had her phone up, recording everything. I looked directly at the camera. Sorry about the disturbance, I said. You'll have a good workout. I walked out. My hands were shaking by the time I got to the truck. Not from fear, from adrenaline, from the sick, ugly satisfaction of watching Tyler fold. I sat there in the parking lot, gripping the steering wheel, trying to breathe. My phone rang. Officer Reed Calloway. Danny, he said when I answered, tell me you didn't just assault someone at Apex Movement. I didn't assault anyone. I've got 3 witnesses saying otherwise. He shoved me first. I defended myself. Reed sighed. Tyler's filing a complaint. Harassment, assault, threatening behavior. You need to back off. He's sleeping with my wife, Reed. I know, and I'm sorry. But you keep this up and Mel's lawyer is going to use it to bury you in the custody fight. You understand what I'm saying? I did. I hated it, but I did. Fine. Danny, I mean it. Stay away from him. Yeah. I hung up. I sat there for another 5 minutes, watching people go in and out of the gym, and thought about all the ways I could hurt Tyler that didn't involve throwing punches. Jake was at the kitchen table doing homework when I got home. Mel's car was gone. Where's your mom? I asked. She left this morning. Said she had showings all day. She say anything else? Just that you and her were working through some things. He made air quotes. Are you guys getting divorced? I set my keys on the counter. Probably. He nodded slowly, staring at his textbook. Is it because of that guy? Yeah. Does she love him? I don't know, Jake. I don't think your mum knows what she loves anymore. He looked up at me. Do you still love her? I thought about it, really thought about it. 3 weeks ago, I would have said yes without hesitation. Now? No, I said. I don't think I do. He nodded again, looked back down. Okay. You okay? Not really, but I will be. Yeah, me too. I made us grilled cheese sandwiches for dinner because I didn't have the energy for anything more complicated. We ate in silence, watching some cooking show neither of us cared about. When Jake went upstairs to finish his homework, I pulled out my laptop and started digging. If Mel had forged my signature once, she'd done it more than once. People don't jump straight to felony fraud. They build up to it. I logged into our joint bank account, the one we'd kept since we got married. It took me 2 hours to find the pattern. Small transfers, 500 here, 1,000 there, always to an account I didn't recognize. Always on days when I was working late at the shop. The transfers had started in April, right after she met Tyler, and they'd gotten bigger over time. In total, she'd moved almost $30,000 into that account. I screenshotted everything, saved it to a thumb drive. Then I kept digging. The property records for 117 Lakeview Drive showed that the house had been listed as a short-term rental starting in September. The rental income was being deposited into the same mystery account. Mel and Tyler were running an Airbnb out of my money and collecting the profit. I sat back in my chair and laughed. It was a mean, ugly sound. Dad, Jake's voice from the stairs. Yeah? You good? Yeah, bud, just working on some stuff. He appeared in the doorway, hesitant. What kind of stuff? Financial stuff. Boring. He didn't believe me, but he didn't push. I'm going to bed. All right, love you. Love you too. After he left, I kept working. I pulled up Tyler's Instagram. It was exactly what I expected. Gym selfies, motivational quotes, videos of him doing burpees on a beach somewhere with the caption, "Earn your rest." He had 4,000 followers, most of them middle-aged women who probably paid him to tell them they were strong. I scrolled back through his posts. In July, he'd posted a photo of himself standing in front of a matte black BMW X6 with the caption, "New whip, manifested this beast. Your turn." I zoomed in. The license plate was partially visible. I ran it through a registry lookup site, $50, totally legal, and got the full details. The BMW was leased through a dealership in Portland. Monthly payment, $1,100. Tyler was a personal trainer in a town of 8,000 people. There was no way he was clearing enough to afford that lease without help. I kept digging. His business page listed his rates: $80 an hour for one-on-one training, $200 for a 4-week program. I counted his tagged clients on Instagram, 15, maybe 20 regulars. Even if they all signed up for the premium package, he was making maybe $4,000 a month before taxes. The BMW payment alone ate a quarter of that. Someone was subsidizing his lifestyle. And I was willing to bet it was Mel. I saved everything to the thumb drive. Then I went to bed and slept better than I had in weeks. The next morning, I called Eddie Palumbo. "Eddie, it's Dan Mercer." "Danny, how you holding up?" "Been better. Listen, I need another favor." "Name it." "That house you've been watching, the one with the BMW. Can you keep an eye on it for another week or two? Just let me know when they're there." "Sure, kid. What are you planning?" "Nothing illegal." "That's not what I asked." I smiled. "I'm just gathering information." "Uh-huh. You need me to send you anything else?" "Not yet. I'll let you know." "All right. Be careful, Danny. People do stupid things when they're hurt." "I'm not hurt anymore, Eddie. I'm pissed." He laughed. "That's what I'm worried about." That afternoon, I drove to the bank. Our mortgage was held by Coastal Federal, a regional outfit that had been in Graybridge since before I was born. I walked in and asked to speak to someone about refinancing. The loan officer, a woman in her 50s named Brenda, led me into a small glass-walled office and pulled up our account. "So you're looking to refinance the primary residence?" she asked. "Actually, I'm trying to understand some charges I'm seeing on our account. There's a line of credit I don't remember opening." She frowned, scrolling. "You have a HELOC that was opened in March, secured against the property at 42 Spruce Street. That's your primary residence, correct?" "Yeah, but I didn't open that." "It's got your signature on the application." "Can I see it?" She printed the paperwork. There it was, my name, my signature, dated March 18th. It looked real. If I hadn't known better, I would have believed I signed it myself. "Is there a problem, Mr. Mercer?" "I think my wife might have signed this without my knowledge." Brenda's face went carefully neutral. "That would be fraud." "I know. You'll need to file a report, with the bank and with the police." "I'm working on it. Can you tell me how much is outstanding on the line of credit?" She checked. $283,000. My stomach dropped. "How much was it originally?" $320,000. You've made 3 payments so far." I hadn't made any payments. Mel had, using money she'd siphoned from our joint account. "And if the payments stop," I asked, "the property goes into default. The bank would initiate foreclosure proceedings." "On which property? The one at 42 Spruce, or the one the HELOC was used to purchase?" "Both, potentially. They're cross-collateralized." I sat back. Mel had tied our family home to a lake house I'd never set foot in. If Tyler walked away, if the rental income dried up, if she stopped making payments, I'd lose everything. Mr. Mercer, if you believe this is fraud, you need to act quickly. The longer you wait, the harder it'll be to prove you weren't complicit. I understand. Thank you. I left the bank feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. Mel hadn't just cheated, she'd built a financial time bomb and set it under my life. I called my lawyer from the truck. Dan, good to hear from you, Roger said. What's going on? I need to file for divorce. Today. Okay, what's the situation? I explained. The affair, the forged documents, the lake house, the siphoned money. Roger was quiet for a long time. This is bad, Dan. This is felony-level bad. I know. You want to press charges? I thought about it. Pressing charges meant cops, courts, a public spectacle. It meant dragging Mel through the system and watching her get arrested in front of Jake. It also meant she'd fight back with everything she had. Not yet, I said. I want to file for divorce first, get custody locked down, then we'll see. All right, I'll draft the paperwork. Can you come by tomorrow? Yeah. And Dan, don't do anything stupid in the meantime. Don't confront her, don't go to the lake house, don't talk to the boyfriend. Let me handle it. Sure, Roger. I hung up and drove straight to the lake house. 117. Lakeview Drive was exactly the kind of place Mel would love. 2-story modern farmhouse with a white exterior and black trim, huge windows overlooking the water, a dock with a kayak tied to it. It looked like something out of a design magazine. It probably was. Eddie's place was 2 doors down, a smaller ranch style with a wraparound porch. I parked in his driveway and texted him. He came out a minute later, coffee mug in hand. Thought you weren't doing anything illegal, he said. I'm not. I just want to look. Uh-huh. They're not home. Left about an hour ago. Perfect. Danny. I'm just going to look around, Eddie. I'm not breaking in. You got a key? Somewhere. He sighed. Don't do anything that's going to get me dragged into court. I won't. I walked down the gravel path to 117. The front door was locked, but I knew Mel. She was predictable. I checked under the mat, under the potted fern by the steps, inside the fake rock by the garden hose. Bingo. The key was in the fake rock. I let myself in. The inside was as perfect as the outside. Hardwood floors, white shiplap walls, open concept kitchen with marble countertops. There was a bowl of fake lemons on the island. The couch had throw pillows arranged just so. It looked like a staged listing, which made sense. This was Mel's world. I walked through slowly, taking it in. There was a photo of Jake on the mantel, a candid shot from a hockey game last year. Seeing it there, in this house I'd never known about, made my chest tight. In the master bedroom, I found Mel's clothes in the closet. Not just a weekend bag, full wardrobe, dresses, jeans, workout gear. She'd been living here. Tyler's stuff was here too. Protein powder tubs stacked on the bathroom counter, gym bag in the corner, a Rolex on the nightstand that probably cost more than my truck. I checked the drawers. In the nightstand, I found the refinancing paperwork. All of it. The HELOC application with my forged signature. The deed transfer. A draft rental agreement for our house on Spruce Street, the one Mel and I had lived in for 15 years. She was planning to turn it into an Airbnb after the divorce. I took pictures of everything. In the kitchen I found a binder, labeled Short-Term Rental Projections. Inside were spreadsheets showing expected income from both properties, the lake house and our family home. Mel had it all mapped out. After the divorce, she'd keep the lake house and Tyler. I'd keep nothing. I heard gravel crunching in the driveway. I shoved everything back into the drawer and slipped into the laundry room, a narrow space off the kitchen that smelled like dryer sheets and mildew. I left the door cracked an inch. The front door opened. Mel's laugh, high and bright. Tyler's voice, deeper, saying something I couldn't make out. I can't believe she fell for it, Mel said. The client, She actually thought I was showing her an investment property. You're evil, Tyler said, laughing. I'm practical. They moved into the kitchen. I could see them through the crack in the door. Tyler had his hands on Mel's hips, pulling her close. She tilted her head back and kissed him. We need to talk about Dan, Tyler said. What about him? He came to the gym yesterday. Threatened me. He did what? He shoved me, made a scene. There were witnesses. Mel pulled back. Did you call the police? Yeah, they said they'd look into it. Good, we can use this. She was pacing now, her real estate agent brain spinning. If he's making threats, if he's unstable, we can build a case. Get full custody of Jake. You think he'd fight that? Of course he'd fight it, but he won't win. Not if we play it right. She stopped, looked at Tyler. You need to file a restraining order. Say you're afraid for your safety. I'm not afraid of him. It doesn't matter. It's about optics. He's a grieving widower who lost his dad and snapped. We're the victims. Tyler nodded slowly. What about the house stuff? The paperwork? He doesn't know about the HELOC. He's too stupid to check. My jaw clenched. And if he does find out, Tyler asked, then I'll say he approved it. It's his signature on the paperwork. But he can't prove I forged it. And even if he tries, by the time it goes to court, we'll be long gone. Where? Somewhere warm. Arizona, maybe. Or Florida. We'll sell both properties, take the equity, and start over. She smiled. With Jake. I felt something snap inside me. They moved into the bedroom. I heard the door close, heard the bed frame creak. I slipped out of the laundry room, out the front door, and walked back to Eddie's place. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my phone. You all right? Eddie asked. No. What did you find? Everything I needed. He handed me his coffee mug. Drink this. You look like you're about to pass out. I drank. It was cold and bitter and exactly what I needed. She's planning to take Jake, I said. She's planning to take everything. So what are you going to do? I looked back at the lake house, at the perfect white exterior, and the black trim, and the fake lemons in the bowl. I'm going to burn her life to the ground, I said. And I'm going to make sure everyone in Graybridge knows exactly who she is. Eddie nodded slowly. You need help? Not yet. I drove back to town with a plan forming in my head. Mel had built her entire life on image. Perfect wife, perfect real estate agent, perfect smile for the camera. She lived and died by reputation. So that's what I'd take from her. Step 1, Erin Palladino. Erin was Mel's best friend, the woman who staged all her listings with throw pillows and fake books and bowls of plastic fruit. She was also the biggest gossip in Graybridge. If you wanted a story to spread, you told Erin. I found her at her warehouse on the edge of town, a converted garage where she kept all her staging supplies. She was unloading a box of vases when I pulled up. Dan, what are you doing here? Hey, Erin, got a minute? Sure, come on in. I followed her inside. The warehouse smelled like scented candles and dust. Shelves lined the walls, stacked with picture frames and lamps and fake plants. I wanted to ask you something, I said casually. Did Mel ever mention buying a property on the lake? Erin frowned. No. Why? She and Tyler bought a place together, 117 Lakeview Drive. Her eyes went wide. What? Yeah, she used my name on the paperwork without telling me. Took out a line of credit against our house to finance it. Dan, that's fraud. Yeah, I know. Erin set down the vase. She looked genuinely shocked. I had no idea. She didn't tell you? No. She said she was staging a rental property for a client, but she never said it was hers. She's been lying to you, Erin. She's been lying to everyone. Erin sat down on a box, processing. Why are you telling me this? Because I thought you should know who your best friend really is. She looked up at me, and I saw the moment it clicked. Erin loved drama, but she hated being lied to, and Mel had lied to her. She's been telling people you're unstable, Erin said quietly. She said you've been making threats. She said she's worried about Jake. I know. She's building a case to take custody, painting me as the bad guy so she can walk away with everything. That's... Erin trailed off, shaking her head. That's not right. No, it's not. I left Erin sitting there, knowing she'd spread the story before dinner. By tomorrow, half of Greybridge would know Mel had forged my signature to buy a love nest with her trainer. That was step 1. Step 2 was Tyler. Tyler's Instagram was a goldmine. Not because of what he posted, but because of what his clients posted. Dozens of women tagging him in their workout photos, thanking him for changing their lives. I went through every single post, looking for patterns. 3 of his clients had stopped posting about him in the last month. I reached out to them through direct messages, pretending to be a potential client. Hey, I'm looking for a trainer and saw you used to work with Tyler Hagen. Would you recommend him? 2 of them didn't respond. The third, a woman named Karen, wrote back immediately. No, he's unprofessional and pushy. I'd look elsewhere. Can I ask what happened? He kept trying to sell me supplements that didn't do anything, and he was always talking about his lifestyle brand and asking me to invest. It felt more like a pyramid scheme than training. Bingo. I dug deeper. Tyler had a side business selling supplements through an MLM called Peak Performance Nutrition. It was one of those companies that sold overpriced protein powder and vitamins and promised distributors they'd get rich if they just recruited enough people. Tyler wasn't just a trainer, he was a con man. I screenshotted everything and saved it to the thumb drive. Then I sent an anonymous email to 3 of Tyler's highest-paying clients, the ones who'd posted glowing reviews in the last week. The email included screenshots of Karen's message, links to Peak Performance Nutrition's BBB complaints, and a polite suggestion that they might want to reconsider their trainer. By the next morning, 2 of them had cancelled their sessions. Jake cornered me at breakfast. Dad, what are you doing? What do you mean? Erin called Mom last night. Mom was screaming on the phone, something about you telling people she forged documents. I told Erin the truth. Dad, Jake, your mother is trying to take you away from me. She's lying to people, saying I'm unstable. I'm not going to sit here and let her destroy me. So you're destroying her instead? Yes. He stared at me. This isn't you. Yeah, well, maybe it is now. He got up and walked out. I heard the front door slam. I sat there for a long time, staring at my coffee. Jake was right. This wasn't me. I'd never been vindictive. I'd never gone out of my way to hurt someone. But Mel had crossed a line, and I couldn't just let it go. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You need to stop. I didn't respond. Another text. I'm serious, Dan. Back off or you'll regret it. Tyler. I smiled and typed back. Come to Mercer Auto tomorrow at noon. Let's talk. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally. Fine. I had one day to set the stage. I spent the morning rigging the shop, not for violence, for theatre. I moved 2 cars into the main bay, positioning them so there was a narrow channel between them. I set up my phone on a tripod in the corner, angled to capture the whole room. I tested the hydraulic lifts, making sure they worked smoothly. Then I swept the floor, threw out the empty oil cans, and made the place look presentable. At noon, Tyler pulled up in his BMW. He got out slowly, looking around like he expected an ambush. I met him at the door. Thanks for coming, I said. What do you want? To talk. Come inside. He followed me into the bay, wary. I closed the door behind us and hit record on my phone. Here's the thing, Tyler. You're broke. He stiffened. Excuse me? You're leasing a car you can't afford. You're renting a house you can't afford. And your business is falling apart because I've been telling your clients exactly who you are. You've been what? I sent them screenshots, showed them you're running an MLM scam. 3 of them have already cancelled. How many more before you can't make rent? His jaw clenched. You son of a... And here's the other thing. Mel's not going to save you. She's using you. Once the divorce is final and she's got what she wants, you're done. You think she's going to stick around when you're broke and nobody in this town will work with you. Shut up. She's already planning her exit, Tyler. Arizona, Florida, somewhere warm, with my son, without you. That's not true. She told you that. I stepped closer. Or did she just let you believe it? He swung at me. I was ready. I ducked, grabbed his wrist, and twisted him into the narrow channel between the 2 cars. He stumbled, off balance, and I hit the lift button. The hydraulic arm rose with a hiss, narrowing the space. Tyler's eyes went wide. What are you doing? Teaching you a lesson. I raised the lift until it was chest high, trapping him in a space about 2 feet wide. He could have climbed over if he tried, but he was too panicked to think straight. Let me out. In a minute. First, we're going to talk about what you did to my life. I didn't do anything. You slept with my wife. You convinced her to forge my name on a mortgage. You helped her plan to steal my son. You think that's nothing? I didn't know about the mortgage. Doesn't matter. You're still complicit. I leaned against the car, watching him squirm. He looked small now, not the confident alpha male from Instagram, just a scared kid in a tight spot. Here's what's going to happen, I said. You're going to leave Greybridge. You're going to break up with Mel, and you're going to do it publicly, so everyone knows it was your choice. Or what? Or I send everything I have to the police, the forged documents, the financial records, the screenshots of her planning to take custody using false claims, and I make sure they know you helped her do it. I didn't. Doesn't matter. You were living in the house. You were benefiting from the fraud. That makes you an accessory. He stared at me, breathing hard. You're bluffing. Try me. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then quietly, what do you want? I told you. Leave town. End it with Mel. Do it publicly. And if I do, then I let you walk away. He nodded slowly. Okay. I hit the button. The lift lowered. Tyler scrambled out of the channel, pale and shaking. Get out of my shop, I said. He ran. I stopped the recording, saved the video, and sent it to myself. Then I sat down on the couch in the office and waited for the fallout. It didn't take long. Mel showed up an hour later, storming through the door like a hurricane. What the hell did you do? I had a conversation. You trapped him in your shop. You threatened him. I did no such thing. We had a civil discussion about his future in Greybridge. He's filing charges. For what? I didn't touch him. I didn't threaten him. I just explained the situation. She was shaking with rage. You're trying to ruin my life? No, Mel, you did that yourself. I gave you 15 years. I raised your son. I stood by you when your father died. And then you cheated on me, forged my name on a mortgage, and planned to take Jake using false accusations. So forgive me if I'm not feeling grateful. She took a step toward me, finger pointed like a weapon. You think you're going to win? You think a judge is going to side with a man who stalks and threatens people? I think a judge is going to side with the parent who didn't commit felony fraud. Her face went white. Yeah, I said. I know about the HELOC. I know about the forged signature. I know about the lake house and the rental income and the plan to sell our family home. I know everything, Mel. You can't prove it. I can. I've got the documents. I've got the bank records. I've got photos of you and Tyler at the lake house. I've got testimony from Eddie Palumbo. I've got everything I need to bury you in court. She stared at me for a long moment. Then, quietly, what do you want? I want you to drop the custody fight. I want you to sign over your half of the shop. And I want you to admit, publicly, that you lied about me being unstable. I'll never... Then I'm filing charges, fraud, forgery, identity theft, You'll lose your real estate license. You'll lose your reputation. And you'll lose Jake. Her hands were shaking. You wouldn't do that. Watch me. She turned and walked out. I let her go. The next day, Tyler posted on Instagram. It was a long caption, the kind influencers write when they're trying to sound deep. The gist, he was leaving Greybridge to focus on his personal growth and realign with his values. He didn't mention Mel. He didn't mention me. But everyone in town knew what it meant. Mel called me that night. You win, she said. What? You win. I'll sign the papers. I'll drop the custody fight. Just leave me alone. I should have felt victorious. I should have felt satisfied. But all I felt was tired. Fine. I need time to figure out what to do with the lake house. Sell it. Use the money to pay off the HELOC. And if I can't, not my problem. She hung up. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in the shop office when Jake walked in. He looked older somehow, like the last month had aged him 5 years. Hey, I said. Hey. He sat down across from me. Mum's moving out. She's going to stay with Erin for a while. I know. Are you happy? No. Then why did you do all this? I thought about it, really thought about it. Because she tried to take everything from me, I said, and I couldn't let her. So you took everything from her instead? Yeah, he nodded. Was it worth it? I didn't answer. I didn't know. Jake stood up. I'm going to stay with Mom this weekend, just to make sure she's okay. All right. He walked to the door, then stopped. Dad? Yeah? I love you, but I don't like what you've become. He left. I sat there for a long time after he was gone, staring at the wall. I'd won. Mel was broken. Tyler was gone. I'd kept the shop, kept my son, kept my name. But I'd lost something too. Something I couldn't get back. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the photos I'd taken at the lake house. Mel laughing, Tyler smiling, the two of them happy in a way I hadn't made Mel happy in years. I deleted them all. 3 days later, Mel's BMW showed up at the shop at 2 a.m. I heard the engine idling outside, saw the headlights through the window. I walked out. She was sitting in the driver's seat, staring straight ahead. I tapped on the window. She rolled it down. What are you doing here, Mel? I don't know. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair pulled back, eyes red. This wasn't the polished real estate agent I'd married. This was just a woman who'd lost everything. I'm sorry, she said. For what? For all of it. For Tyler. For the house. For trying to take Jake. She wiped her eyes. I was scared. After your dad died, you were so absent, and I didn't know how to talk to you, so I just went somewhere else. You could have left. You didn't have to lie. I know. We sat in silence for a while. The November air was cold, biting, and I could see her breath fogging the windshield. I'm selling the lake house, she said finally, and I'm moving to Portland. Erin offered me a job with her staging company. That's good. Yeah, she looked at me. Are you going to be okay? I don't know. She nodded. Me neither. She put the car in gear and drove away. I watched her taillights disappear down Main Street, and then I went back inside. Jake moved back in a week later. We didn't talk about Mel much. We didn't talk about Tyler at all. We just went back to our routine. Breakfast before school, dinner at 6, hockey practice on Thursdays. It felt normal. Almost. One night we were watching TV when Jake said, "Do you regret it?" Regret what? Everything you did. To Mom and Tyler. I thought about it. No. Why not? Because they tried to erase me, and I wasn't going to let that happen. He nodded slowly. Do you think you went too far? Yeah, probably. Then why don't you regret it? Because I'd do it again. He looked at me, and I saw something in his eyes I didn't like. Not fear, not anger, just distance. "You're different now, Dad," he said quietly. "I know. I miss the way you used to be." "Yeah, me too." We went back to watching TV, but something had shifted between us, and I didn't know how to fix it. A month later, the lake house sold. Mel got enough from the sale to pay off the HELOC and walk away with about 20 grand. She sent me a check for half. I cashed it and put the money toward Jake's college fund. Tyler disappeared from social media. Someone told me he'd moved to Arizona and was working at a gym in Scottsdale. I didn't look him up. I didn't care. Erin stopped by the shop one afternoon with coffee. "How are you doing?" she asked. "Fine. Mel asked me to check on you." "Tell her I'm fine." She hesitated. "You know, people in town are talking." "Let them talk. They're saying you went psycho, that you scared Tyler so bad he left the state." "I did." She looked at me, searching for something. "Do you feel bad about it?" "No." "You should." "Why?" "He slept with my wife. He helped her steal from me. He got what he deserved." "And Mel?" "Mel made her choices." Erin shook her head. "You're not the man I thought you were, Dan." "Good. That guy was weak." She left without finishing her coffee. That's 6 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I was closing up the shop when Officer Reed showed up. "Danny." "Reed." "Got a minute?" "Sure." We sat in the office. He looked uncomfortable. "Tyler filed another complaint," Reed said. "Says you've been calling him, harassing him." "I haven't called him once. He's got phone records. Then they're fake. I haven't thought about Tyler in weeks." Reed studied me. "You sure about that?" "Positive." He sighed. "Look, I'm going to be straight with you. People in town are worried. They think you snapped. They think you're dangerous." "Let them think what they want." "Danny, you need to tone it down. You won your fight. Mel's gone. Tyler's gone. It's over." "I know it's over." "Then start acting like it." He left. I sat there in the dark office, listening to the fluorescent lights hum. He was right. It was over. I'd won, but it didn't feel like winning. Jake graduated high school that spring. Mel came to the ceremony. We didn't sit together. Afterward, she hugged Jake for a long time, whispering something I couldn't hear. Then she left. "What did she say?" I asked Jake later. "She said she was sorry for everything." "What did you say?" "I said I loved her, but I couldn't forgive her yet." I nodded. "That's fair." "What about you, Dad? Can you forgive her?" I thought about it. "No." "Will you ever?" "I don't know." He looked disappointed, but he didn't push. It's been a year now. Jake's at college in Boston. The shop is doing well. I've got a steady stream of customers, and I hired a kid to help with the bodywork. Life is quiet, normal. But sometimes, late at night, I think about the person I used to be. The guy who believed in second chances. The guy who thought people were fundamentally good. That guy's gone. I don't regret it. I can't, because if I regret it, then I have to admit I went too far. And I'm not ready to do that. Jake calls once a week. We talk about classes, about hockey, about nothing important. He never asks about Mel. He never asks if I'm okay. I think he's afraid of the answer. Last week I drove past the lake house. There's a new family living there now, a couple from New York with 2 kids. They've painted the trim grey and added a tire swing to the tree out front. It looks happy, like it was never mine. I kept driving. Yesterday, I got a letter from Mel. She's engaged. Some guy she met in Portland, a contractor who builds sustainable homes. She sounds happy in the letter. She sounds like the person she used to be. She asked if I was seeing anyone. I'm not. I don't think I will. She asked if I was okay. I didn't answer. At the bottom of the letter, she wrote, I hope you find peace, Dan. You deserve it. I burned the letter in the shop's incinerator. Then I went back to work. Tonight, Jake called. He said he was thinking about coming home for Thanksgiving. He said he wanted to see me. He said he missed the way things used to be. I told him I'd be here. After we hung up, I sat in the dark office, listening to the rain hammer the metal roof. I thought about Mel, about Tyler, about the person I'd become. I thought about Jake's voice on the phone, careful and distant, like he was talking to a stranger. I'd won the war, but I'd lost my son's respect. I'd lost my own sense of who I was. I'd lost the ability to sleep without seeing Mel's face the night she broke down, the night I told her she'd walk away with nothing. I don't regret it, but God, sometimes I wish I did. 2 weeks later, I was locking up the shop when a car pulled into the lot. I didn't recognize it at first, a silver Honda Accord, maybe 10 years old. Then the driver's side door opened. Tyler. He looked different, thinner, hair cut short. No more fake tan, no more expensive workout gear. He looked like a regular person. "What do you want?" I said. "To talk." "We've got nothing to talk about." "Please, 5 minutes." I should have told him to leave, but I was curious. "Fine, 5 minutes." We sat on the bench outside the shop. He stared at his hands for a long time before speaking. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "For what?" "For everything. For Mel. For the lake house. For being an arrogant prick who thought he could take whatever he wanted." I didn't respond. "I lost everything," he continued. "My business, my clients, my reputation. I had to move back in with my parents in Arizona. I'm working at a Planet Fitness for $15 an hour." He laughed bitterly. "You destroyed me. You destroyed yourself. Maybe, but you didn't have to make it so complete." "Yes, I did." He looked at me. "Why?" "Because you tried to take my son, and I'd rather burn the world down than let that happen." He nodded slowly. "I get it now. I didn't understand it at the time, but I get it." "Good for you. Do you hate me?" "No, I don't think about you at all." He flinched. Then he stood up. "I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I needed to say it." He walked back to his car and drove away. I sat there for a long time after he left, watching the sunset over the mill buildings. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, no regret. Just empty. A Thanksgiving came. Jake drove up from Boston. We cooked a turkey together, watched football, argued about whether the Patriots were washed. It felt almost normal. On Saturday morning, I was making coffee when Jake said, "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you ever think about forgiving Mom?" I set down the coffee pot. "Why are you asking?" "Because she's getting married, and she wants me to be there, and I don't know if I should go." "Do you want to go?" "I don't know. Part of me does. But part of me feels like, if I go, I'm betraying you." "Jake, you're not betraying me. But you hate her." "I don't hate her. I can't forgive her. Not yet. Maybe not ever." He looked down at his hands. "I saw her last month. She looks happy." "Good. Don't you want to be happy too?" I thought about it. I don't know what that looks like anymore. "Dad, go to the wedding, Jake. Be there for your mom. She's still your mom, no matter what happened between us." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." He hugged me. I held on longer than I should have. "When?" The wedding was in February. Jake sent me a picture. Mel in a white dress, smiling next to some guy with a beard and kind eyes. She looked beautiful. She looked free. I deleted the picture. Spring came. The shop stayed busy. Jake called less often, but when he did, he sounded good. Happy, like he'd finally let go of the weight he'd been carrying. One night I was working late when I heard footsteps outside. I looked up, expecting a customer. It was Mel. She was alone. No fiancé, no entourage. Just her, standing in the doorway, like she wasn't sure she was allowed to be there. "Hi," she said. "Hi. Can I come in? It's your funeral." She stepped inside, looking around at the shop. "It looks the same. Why would it change?" She didn't answer. She just stood there, hands in her coat pockets, looking lost. "What do you want, Mel?" "I wanted to see you, to talk." "About what?" "About us. About what happened." "There's nothing to talk about." "Dan, you cheated. You lied. You tried to destroy me. I fought back. That's the whole story." "I know, and I'm sorry." "You already said that." "I mean it." "Doesn't matter." She took a step closer. "I think about you sometimes, about what we had before everything fell apart. That's your problem, not mine. Do you ever think about me?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. She was older now, lines around her eyes that hadn't been there before. But she was still Mel, still the woman I'd loved for 15 years. "No," I lied. She nodded, like she'd expected that answer. "I'm getting married in 3 weeks." "I know. Jake told me." "I wanted you to hear it from me first." "Why?" "Because you deserve that much." I laughed. It was a harsh sound. "I don't deserve anything from you, Mel. You made that clear." "I was wrong. About everything. I was scared and selfish, and I hurt you in ways I can't take back. But I need you to know, it wasn't about you, it was about me. That doesn't make it better." "I know." We stood there in silence for a long time. Then she turned to leave. "Mel." She stopped. "I hope you're happy, I really do." She looked back at me, and her eyes were wet. "I hope you find peace, Dan. You deserve it more than anyone I know." She left. I sat down on the couch in the office and stared at the wall. I didn't cry. I didn't feel anything. I just sat there until the sun came up. The next day, I drove to the lake, not to the house, just to the water. I parked at the public access point and walked down to the shore. It was early March, still cold, the water choppy and grey. I stood there for a long time, hands in my pockets, watching the waves roll in. I thought about Mel, about Tyler, about the person I'd been before all this started. That guy wouldn't recognize me now. He'd be horrified by what I'd done, by how far I'd gone. But that guy didn't know what it felt like to have everything stolen from him. That guy hadn't learned that the world doesn't reward kindness. It rewards ruthlessness. I picked up a rock and threw it as far as I could. It disappeared into the water without a sound. When Jake came home for spring break, we went to a hockey game together, Bruins versus Maple Leafs. The Bruins won in overtime. Afterward, we got burgers at a diner on the highway. "Mum invited me to the wedding," Jake said. "I know. Are you going?" "Yeah, is that okay?" "Of course it's okay." He hesitated. "She invited you too." I set down my burger. "What?" "She said you're welcome to come, if you want." "I don't want." I figured, but I told her I'd ask. "Well, you asked." He nodded. We ate in silence for a while. Then he said, "Do you ever regret what you did to her?" "No." "Not even a little?" "No." He looked disappointed, but he didn't push. I didn't go to the wedding. I spent that Saturday working on an old Mustang someone had brought in, sanding down rust spots and repainting the panels. I worked until my hands ached and my back screamed, and I couldn't think about anything except the next spot that needed fixing. When I got home that night, there was a message on my phone. "Jake, the wedding was beautiful. Mom looked happy. Wish you'd been here." I deleted it. Summer came. The shop stayed busy. Jake got an internship in Boston and decided to stay there for the summer. I told him it was fine. It was. One night I was sitting on the porch when Erin showed up. "Hey," she said. "Hey. Mind if I sit?" "Go ahead." She sat down next to me, staring out at the empty street. "I heard Mel got married." Yeah. How do you feel about it? I don't. You're a terrible liar, Dan. I didn't respond. You know, people in town still talk about what happened, about what you did. Let them talk. They say you went too far, that you were cruel. They're probably right. She looked at me. Do you care? No. I think you do. I think you care a lot. You just don't want to admit it. I stood up. I'm tired, Erin. I'm going to bed. Dan, good night. I went inside and locked the door. Fall came. Jake started his sophomore year. I kept working. Days blurred together. Fix a fender, repaint a bumper, send an invoice. Repeat. One afternoon, I was alone in the shop when Reed stopped by. Danny. Reed. Got a minute? Sure. We sat in the office. He looked older, greyer, like the job was finally wearing him down. I'm retiring, he said. Congratulations. Thanks. I wanted to tell you in person. I appreciate that. He hesitated. I also wanted to ask you something. What's that? Are you okay? I'm fine. You don't look fine. You look like hell. I'm fine, Reed. He sighed. You know, I've known you since we were kids. I watched you grow up. I watched you take over this shop after your dad died. And I've never seen you like this. Like what? Empty. I didn't respond. You won, Danny. You got everything you wanted. So why do you look like you lost? Because I did, I said quietly. He didn't say anything. He just nodded, stood up, and left. Winter came again. Jake called less and less. When we did talk, the conversations were brief, polite. He told me about school, about his friends, about a girl he was seeing. He didn't ask about me. On Christmas Eve, I was alone in the shop when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Dan. Mel. What do you want? I wanted to wish you Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Silence. How are you? She asked. Fine. Are you with Jake? No, he's in Boston. Oh, I thought he was coming home. He's not. More silence. Dan, Goodbye, Mel. I hung up. I sat there in the dark office, staring at the phone. Then I threw it across the room. It hit the wall and shattered. New Year's came. I didn't celebrate. I worked. On January 3rd, Jake showed up at the shop. I wasn't expecting him. He looked different, older, harder. Jake, what are you doing here? I came to talk. About what? About you. About what you've become. Jake, no, let me talk. He took a breath. Mom called me last week. She told me you hung up on her on Christmas Eve. So? So she was crying, Dad. She was calling to check on you because she's worried. And you hung up on her. I don't owe her anything. You're right, you don't. But you owe me an explanation. For what? For why you've turned into this angry, bitter person who can't let go. I let go. I moved on. No, you didn't. You're still holding on to what she did. You're still punishing her. And you're punishing yourself. That's not true. Then why are you alone? Why do you spend every night in this shop instead of living your life? Why do you look like you haven't slept in a year? I didn't answer. I love you, Dad, but I can't keep watching you destroy yourself. I'm not destroying myself. Yes, you are, and I don't know how to help you anymore. He turned to leave. Jake, wait. He stopped. I'm sorry, I said, for everything, for what I became, for pushing you away. He looked back at me, and I saw tears in his eyes. I just want my dad back. I don't know if that guy exists anymore. Then find him. He left. I stood there in the empty shop, listening to his car drive away, and for the first time in 2 years, I cried. The next morning, I woke up on the couch in the office. My back ached, my head pounded, and I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I staggered to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and looked at myself in the mirror. Jake was right. I looked like hell. Grey, hollow, haunted. This wasn't living. This was just surviving. I pulled out my phone. I'd gotten a replacement after smashing the old one, and scrolled through my contacts. I stopped at Mel's name. My finger hovered over the call button. Then I put the phone down. I wasn't ready. Spring came again. Jake called more often. We talked about safe things, school, hockey, the weather. He didn't mention the fight. I didn't apologize again. We just moved forward. One day I was walking through town when I saw Erin. She waved me down. "Dan, I haven't seen you in forever." "Hey, Erin. How are you?" "Better." She studied me. "You look better." "Thanks. Listen, I'm having a thing at my place next weekend. Just a small dinner. Nothing fancy. You should come." "I don't know." "Come on, you can't hide in that shop forever." She was right. "All right, I'll be there." The dinner was awkward at first. I didn't know most of the people there, and small talk had never been my strong suit. But Erin kept pulling me into conversations, introducing me around, and eventually I relaxed. Halfway through the night, a woman sat down next to me. She was about my age, dark hair, kind eyes. "Hi, I'm Claire." "Dan. Erin told me about you." "Oh, no," she laughed. "Don't worry. She said good things. Mostly." We talked for an hour. She was a teacher, divorced, no kids. She'd moved to Greybridge a year ago for a fresh start. She was funny, smart, easy to talk to. When the dinner ended, she gave me her number. "Call me sometime," she said. "I will." I didn't call, but I kept the number. When summer came, Jake got a job in Boston, working for a startup. He sounded excited when he told me about it. Happy, like he'd found his place in the world. "I'm proud of you, kid," I said. "Thanks, Dad. That means a lot." "You coming home for the 4th? "I don't know. Maybe. Let me know." "I will." He didn't come home, but he called on the 4th, and we talked for an hour. It was the longest conversation we'd had in months. When we hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. August came. I was closing up the shop when my phone rang. Mel. I almost didn't answer, but I did. "Dan?" "Yeah. I wanted to call you to check in." "I'm fine. Are you?" I thought about it. "Getting there." She was quiet for a moment. "I heard you went to Erin's dinner party. She said you seemed lighter." "Yeah, it was good." "I'm glad." "How's married life?" "It's good, really good. Mark's wonderful." "I'm happy for you." "Are you really?" "Yeah, I think I am." She exhaled, like she'd been holding her breath. "I'm glad. I want you to be happy, Dan. You deserve it." "You too, Mel." We said goodbye. This time I didn't hang up angry. I just hung up. That night I pulled out Claire's number. I stared at it for a long time. Then I called. "Hello?" "Hi, Claire, it's Dan from Erin's dinner." "Dan. Hi, I was wondering if I'd hear from you. Sorry it took so long." "It's okay. How are you?" "Good. I was wondering, would you want to get coffee sometime?" She smiled. I could hear it through the phone. "I'd like that." We made plans for Saturday. Saturday came. Claire and I met at a cafe on Main Street. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about her life, her job, her divorce. I told her about the shop, about Jake, about my father. I didn't tell her about Mel. Not yet, but I would, eventually. When we left the cafe, she gave me a hug. I had a great time. Me too. "Let's do this again." "Definitely." I drove home smiling. And fall came again. Jake came home for Thanksgiving. We cooked together, watched football, argued about the Patriots. It felt normal. Better than normal. On Friday night, Jake said, "I'm glad you're doing better, Dad." "Thanks, kid. I mean it. You seem happier." "I am." "Is it because of Claire?" "Partly, but mostly it's because I finally let go. Of Mom. Of everything. The anger, the bitterness, the need for revenge. I finally realized it wasn't worth it." He smiled. "I'm proud of you." "Thanks. That means a lot." Winter came. Claire and I kept seeing each other. It was slow, careful. We both had baggage, but it felt right. On New Year's Eve, we were sitting on her couch when she said, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you ever think about your ex-wife?" "Sometimes." "Do you regret what you did to her?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "Yeah, I do." "Why?" "Because it didn't make me feel better. It just made me feel empty." She nodded. "I get that." "Do you ever regret what happened with your ex?" "Every day, but I'm learning to live with it." "Yeah, me too." She leaned her head on my shoulder. We sat there, watching the clock tick toward midnight. When the ball dropped, she kissed me. It was soft, tentative, full of hope. And for the first time in years, I felt like I might actually be okay. Our spring came. Jake graduated college. Mel was there with her husband. I was there with Claire. We didn't talk, Mel and I. We just smiled at each other from across the room. It was enough. After the ceremony, Jake hugged me. "Thanks for coming, Dad." "Wouldn't miss it." "I'm proud of you for everything, for getting better." "I'm proud of you too, kid." He smiled. "I love you, Dad." "I love you too." Yay, summer came. The shop stayed busy. Claire and I kept seeing each other. Jake moved to New York for a job. Life moved forward. One night, I was sitting on the porch when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Dan." "Mel." "Hey. Hey, I wanted to call you, to tell you something." "What's that?" "I'm pregnant." I felt something twist in my chest. "Congratulations." "Thanks. I wanted you to know. I don't know why. I just felt like you should." "I appreciate that." Silence. "I'm happy for you, Mel, really." "Thank you. That means a lot." She paused. "How are you?" "Good. Really good." "I'm glad." "Me too." We said goodbye. This time, when I hung up, I felt peace. That fall came. Claire moved in. Jake came home for Thanksgiving. We cooked together, all three of us. It felt like a family. On Friday night, I was sitting in the shop office when Claire found me. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" "About how different things are now. A year ago, I was alone, angry, empty, and now I'm here, with you, with Jake, and I'm happy." She smiled. "Me too." She kissed me, and I kissed her back. Winter came. On Christmas Eve, I was closing up the shop when my phone rang. Mel. "Dan?" "Hey. Merry Christmas." "Merry Christmas." "I just wanted to call and say thank you." "For what?" "For letting me go, for moving on, for giving me permission to be happy." "You didn't need my permission, Mel." "I know, but it helps to know you're okay." "I'm more than okay. I'm good." "I'm glad." We said goodbye, and for the first time, I meant it when I said, "Take care of yourself, Mel." "You too, Dan." Our New Year's came. Claire and I spent it at her place, drinking wine and watching the fireworks from her balcony. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "About how far I've come." And I'm grateful for all of it, even the bad stuff, because it brought me here. She smiled. "I love you, Dan." It was the first time she'd said it. I looked at her, this woman who'd seen me at my worst and chose to stay anyway. "I love you too," I said. We kissed as the fireworks exploded overhead. Spring came. Jake visited. He told me he was seeing someone, a girl he'd met at work. He was happy. I was happy for him. You seem different, Dad, he said. Different how? Like you finally let go. I have. Good. You deserve to be happy. So do you, kid. He smiled. We're going to be okay, aren't we? Yeah, we are. The summer came. Claire and I got engaged. Jake was there when I proposed. He cried. So did I. The wedding was small, just close friends and family. Mel wasn't there, but I thought about her that day, about the life we'd had, about the person I'd been, and I felt nothing but gratitude, because without her, without the pain and the anger and the destruction, I wouldn't have found myself. I wouldn't have found Claire. I wouldn't have found peace. One fall came. Claire and I bought a house, not on the lake, just a small place on the edge of town with a big backyard and a porch where we could sit and watch the sunset. One night I was sitting on that porch when Claire came out. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "About how lucky I am." "Oh, yeah." "Yeah, I've got you. I've got Jake. I've got the shop. I've got everything I need." She smiled. "You've earned it." "Have I?" "Yeah, you have." She sat down next to me and we watched the sunset together, and for the first time in years I felt whole.